Hi, I'm Gidon from technologyman.com. The Amazfit GTS smartwatch has a high-resolution AMO LED always-on display, heart rate and sleep monitoring, and built-in GPS tracking with 12 activity types, all contained in a thin 50-metre waterproof aluminium body with up to 14 days of battery life. For around £110 or $140, it sounds good value, but it's considerably more expensive than the still popular Amazfit Bip I reviewed a while back, and it's not far off the price of comparable offerings from big names like Garmin. So let's find out if it's any good. In the box you get the watch itself with a strap already installed, a proprietary magnetic charging cable and an instruction manual. It's difficult not to compare its design to the Apple Watch. It looks very similar with a basic central button on the side rather than the off-centre Apple Watch digital crown. It's well made with a Gorilla Glass touchscreen, aluminium surround and what feels like a hard plastic bottom housing the heart rate sensor. The included black strap is made from relatively thin silicone with a standard buckle, but you can get replacement 20mm straps fairly cheaply off Amazon or eBay. Changing the strap is straightforward and tool-free. You just use your fingernail to release the catch. The watch is a little thicker and heavier than the Bip at 11mm including the heart rate monitor bump and weighs 39 grams with the strap, but it's still lighter and thinner than an Apple Watch Series 4. It's worth noting that there are two versions of the Amazfit GTS. I have the international version that doesn't have NFC for contactless payments, but there's also a Chinese version that does. You'll need to download the accompanying Amazfit app from Google Play or the Apple App Store. The instruction manual has a QR code you can scan to take you straight to the app's download page, but this gave a page not found, which wasn't a great start. After manually downloading and launching the Amazfit Watch app, you'll be prompted to sign in. Turning the watch on for the first time with the side button prompted a factory reset, which seemed a little strange. After the reset, you're ready to pair the app with the watch. Tap the plus icon and choose the Amazfit GTS from the watch's submenu. Hold the phone over the watch's QR code and accept the pairing request. Let the app download any updates to the watch, which takes about 5 minutes. Charging the 220 mAh lithium-ion polymer battery takes around 2 hours from flat. The charging cable has a magnetic receptacle that will only snap into place one way around. Most of the configuration for the watch is done through the Amazfit app. Tap on the Profile tab and then Amazfit GTS under My Devices. You'll see the current charge status. I quite like the default watch face, but you have a wide range of watch faces to change it to. Just tap on the watch face you like and let it sync across. You can turn on incoming call alerts, which will display the name of any known contacts if you also have that setting turned on. You can't answer phone calls, you can only reject them if you're busy, but it's still useful seeing who's calling you. You can set alarms, the watch will vibrate when the alarm goes off. Under app alerts, you can control what notifications you'll get. I have WhatsApp turned on. For some reason you'll need to go into More, Incoming SMS to turn on notifications for SMS messages. You can't respond to any messages. Find Watch will vibrate your watch if it's in Bluetooth range. Activity heart rate sharing will let compatible devices use the watch's heart rate monitor as an external sensor. For example, if you wanted to run with the iSmooth Run app on your phone, you can search for external sensors and tap on the Amazfit GTS. You will need to start an activity on the watch for the heart rate to get updated. You also need to confirm which wrist you have your watch on, and you can configure when Lift Wrist to View Info is active. If you're going to wear the watch for sleep tracking, I'll change this to daytime hours only. Heart rate detection method can be set to automatic heart detection and sleep assistant for the most accurate continuous heart rate monitoring 24 hours a day at the expense of battery life. I leave the detection frequency at a minute and turn activity detection on. Display settings lets you choose your watch pages. You can rearrange their order and hide pages you don't want to see. The vibration setting lets you configure custom vibration alerts that you can set for varying notifications. Tap on the plus button and then tap the watch icon to define your own alert. Here's also where you can configure your location for the weather forecast. If we go back, you can also set your steps goal under My Goals, Activity Goal, and under Accounts you can connect to Strava, so theoretically you can sync your activities across. However, although I could easily connect my Strava account, the app instantly forgot the setting, which meant this feature didn't work. I did contact support, but 2 weeks on there's still no fix. The AMO LED display protected by Gorilla Glass is by far the most impressive feature of the watch. Its 341 ppi screen looks as sharp and clear as that of an Apple Watch Series 4 costing over 3 times the price. It has an anti-fingerprint coating and feels very smooth to the touch. Depending on your watch face, it can look like the display extends all the way to the soft rounded edges of the screen. There is in fact an approximately 4mm bezel. The screen measures 40mm by 35mm, with the display occupying roughly 33mm by 26mm. Long pressing the screen lets you quickly change watch faces. You can tap on the edit icon to configure a watch face. You can customize the various modules by tapping on them and scrolling through the available options. These can display live info like heart rate or steps, or they can just be shortcuts to some of the watch's functions like music that I'll cover shortly. Different watch faces have different widgets that can be customised, but it is impressive the amount of customisation that's available. Swiping left and right switches between steps and heart rate. The side button will always take you back to the home page. Swiping down from the home page confirms pairing to your smartphone and battery remaining in the top left in a very small font. The central icons turn torch mode on and off, which is just a white screen, and controls do not disturb mode, the auto brightness setting and screen lock. Swipe up or press the side button to return to the home page. Swiping up from the home page, you can access the various screens you chose earlier in display settings. These will vary depending on what you have configured, but I'll cover some of the interesting ones. Swiping right goes back. In settings, you can choose your watch faces from the ones that come with the watch or any you've synced across from the app. You can configure the screen timeout under screen auto off. Press and hold configures what a long press of the side button activates. By default it starts a workout, but you can change this here to your preferred function. Raising your wrist or tapping the screen activates the screen. By default it's blank when not woken up, but you can turn always on display to have the time displayed throughout the day. Make sure you have the latest firmware to see this feature. This will reduce battery life, but it's a feature only introduced to the Apple Watch in its current Series 5 version. Music will let you control anything playing on your phone or through any Bluetooth headphones connected to your phone. Music and podcasts can be controlled off my iPhone. You can pause and play music, skip tracks and adjust the volume, which is all very convenient. If you use this a lot, it might be useful to set a long press of the side button to take you straight to this page, or at least have a shortcut configured on your watch face. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the YouTube app, but it worked with most other apps I tried, including Spotify and Amazon Music, and the native music and podcast apps on iOS. Notifications flash up on the screen, but to access them after that you need to go to the notifications page. You can swipe left to delete a notification or scroll down to the bottom to delete them all. Under More, there's a compass and you can scroll down for an air pressure gauge and an altimeter. There's also a stopwatch and a countdown timer. The latest firmware update brought a new PAI or Personal Activity Intelligence function. Basically one number that indicates your activity level based on heart rate rather than steps. You're meant to strive for 100 PAI points on a day. I haven't yet used this enough to determine if it provides valuable data or not. You can't access sleep stats from the watch, you need to use the accompanying app. I'll cover workouts and activities and sleep shortly. You can press the side button to return to the home screen or swipe right. The Amazfit Bip seems to last forever between charges, but I wasn't sure how the GTS would fare with a significantly upgraded screen. Amazfit quote 14 days of daily use with heart rate and sleep monitoring on and 3 30-minute GPS workouts a week. It's hard to explicitly test this since it depends so much on how you use your watch, but I've had everything on, including the always on display. I've worn it 24 hours a day for sleep monitoring too, and I've done long bike rides and runs with GPS on. I've only charged it a couple of times in the last 2 weeks and it wasn't even empty when I did. That is to say, battery life is still very good. I'm not sure it's quite 2 weeks, and it's not as long as the almost 1 month of the Amazfit Bip, but it's considerably more than most smartwatches I've tried. I need to charge my Apple Watch almost every day. The Amazfit GTS makes a pretty good watch if you're interested in sleep monitoring. It's lightweight so it isn't too noticeable on your wrist at night, and all you need to do is wear the watch to bed. It will automatically determine when you go to sleep and will monitor how well you slept. It's best to turn on Sleep Assistant for more accurate results under heart rate detection method in the Amazfit app as already discussed. I measured my sleep with my Apple Watch Series 4 via the Auto Sleep app since there's no native sleep app. The Sleep Cycle app on my iPhone rested on my bedside table and the Amazfit GTS. Results varied but were generally in line with each other. I haven't found any sleep monitoring solutions that reliably measure awake time, for me at least, and I don't put an awful lot of trust into how these apps determine light and deep sleep and whether it really matters anyway. But they're handy for checking how much sleep you got, and the Amazfit GTS is a good solution for sleep tracking if that's something you're after in a smartwatch. The Bip was a competent smartwatch with great battery life, but it wasn't a great GPS watch. There were only a few activities you could track, heart rate monitoring wasn't particularly accurate, and most annoyingly, it was difficult exporting your activities to platforms like Strava. The GTS offers 12 activity types that you can choose from, including swimming, now the watch is fully waterproof. By default, to start a workout, you long press the side button. Depending on your activity type, you'll get varying pages that you can scroll through during the activity. The time is still displayed in a small font in the top right. You can't access any other functions of the watch while the activity is in progress. So for example, you can't control your music during a run. You long press the side button to end the workout. I was encouraged to see Strava syncing is now available in the Amazfit app, but as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't get this to work on iOS at least. I had to turn to the third-party Amaze Tools app, which does support syncing to Strava and exporting in various file formats, but sometimes activities don't sync across from the watch to this app, so it's still a frustrating experience actually getting activities off the watch. I tested out the built-in heart rate monitor against the reliable Wahoo Ticker X external heart rate strap paired to my Apple Watch Series 4 for running and a Garmin Edge 1000 for cycling. I used a DC Rainmaker analysis tool to compare the results. For running, it took almost 20 minutes for the watch to start capturing meaningful data, and it did then follow the general trend of the external heart rate strap, although there were still a lot of random variations and spikes, and it's not capturing the heart rate every second like the chest strap. It did a worse job of capturing a mountain bike ride. There were periods of the ride where the watch and heart rate strap tracked for a bit, but they were few and far between. Results from wrist-based heart rate monitors do vary with different people, so you may have better results. I always made sure the strap was a tight fit on my wrist, and I even purchased a Velcro strap for the GTS for an even better fit, which did improve accuracy a little. But overall, I'd have trouble recommending this watch if accurate heart rate data is important to you. And unfortunately, unlike some models in Amazfit's range, like the Stratos 3 and Verge 2, you can't just pair an external heart rate strap if you do want reliable data. It's worth pointing out that the Apple Watch, which is far more expensive and is meant to have one of the best wrist-based heart rate monitors available, often isn't perfect itself. Continuous heart rate monitoring seemed to work okay, and it's nice to get an indication of your resting heart rate, usually a good indicator of your current fitness level. There's no capability to measure ECG like on the Apple Watch. The good news is that if you're not too concerned with heart rate, the GPS track was pretty close to the Garmin and Apple Watch. GPS does take a little time to get a lock, but you can still start the activity and the watch will vibrate when it locks onto the satellites, usually within a minute. And since GPS is built into the watch, you can leave your phone behind. And step tracking, now pretty mature technology, appeared in line with both an Apple Watch and a smartphone. As a smartwatch, the Amazfit GTS does a good job. At first glance, it's very difficult to tell apart from an Apple Watch costing far more, and when the display lights up, it's hard not to be wowed. And there's a huge range of watch faces which are easy to configure to your tastes. If you're mainly using the watch as a smartwatch and for step tracking, I think you'd be more than happy with it. Glancing down at your wrist to see a notification or who's calling you is very handy, as is quickly seeing what the weather's doing or controlling your music with your phone still in your pocket. If you're buying it as a GPS watch for running or cycling, it works fine for tracking GPS, but heart rate monitoring wasn't reliable, for me at least. And I really hope they sort out easily syncing to Strava or other ways to export your activities. Which brings me to the price. If you're mainly after a good looking smartwatch with excellent battery life, the price tag is competitive, especially when you consider the display. If you're after a watch for tracking your workouts with some smartwatch functionality, there are similar priced options from Garmin and others that would most likely be a better option. For example, the Garmin Forerunner 35, albeit with a non-touch monochrome LCD screen. But I'd be interested to hear what you think. Would you pay the extra over the bit for the AMO LED screen? Do you care about heart rate tracking? Let me know down below. And as always, if you have any questions, please ask. I read every comment and I'll do my best to respond. I do hope you found this video useful. Please like the video if you did. I'm releasing videos every week on the latest technology and how to get the most out of it, so please make sure you subscribe. It helps more than you think. And don't forget to tap the bell icon if you want to get notified as soon as a new video gets uploaded. Thanks for watching.